Let's now talk about some exciting news stories relating to analytics. You may recall that back in Update 43, there was an analytics beta that was available in your non-production environment. That beta has now become part of production. You can enable it and actually take advantage of that experience. And there's also been a lot of new features added since 43 that I'm going to demonstrate for you. The result is going to be a much better overall experience as both an administrator and as a user of analytics. You'll notice that you have a lot more flexible tools, a lot more charts available, and the overall experience is going to be much more intuitive for the user. Let me go ahead and just share my screen so you can see what that will look like. So here I'm on the analytics page as an administrator will see it. And the first thing you'll notice is that if I want to simply search for a report, I can use the categories just like I could before. Now you can actually change those categories so that they will be your default. A very common request that we've had is to set default categories, such as I only want to see my reports that I've created. And so you can now default that. And so anytime you come in here, that's exactly what it'll show. Or maybe you want to see only the built-in reports or your favorite reports. You'll also notice that when you go to create a report, it'll look something like this. You'll have up to 6 reports if you include the pivot table report, which is something that you will need to request from support and purchase if you'd like to take advantage of that. The other 5 reports are completely free out of the box. If I click on one of these, you'll notice that the screen does look a bit different, but it also looks kind of similar. So you still have the same sections. You have filters, dimensions, metrics, but now they're color-coded, much easier to distinguish between them. You can also see that you have different categories to select from, and by default, courses is selected. I can uncheck or check either dimensions or metrics, and then I can simply drag and drop the different fields into the corresponding sections. You can also undock this area if you'd like to move it around to a different area of the screen that's more convenient for you. If you want to redock it, you simply close this, brings it back over here. You can also collapse it all together if you want to just take full advantage of all of the fields, dimensions, and metrics that are already in place. The preview, you'll notice, is actually up here in the upper left. And the reason for that is because now you're going to be able to have a lot more columns of information without the need to scroll. And that can certainly be beneficial. I'm going to close this now and go over to the regular analytics page to run a report. If I actually click on one of the reports, you'll notice that the overall experience is a bit different. So here's a dashboard report. And you can see that you still have the download option. You can also jump right into the edit screen if you want to make changes to that particular report, and you have rights to do so. If I go over to recently viewed, I can click on something like the course completion report. And here you can see that the screen does look a bit different than it used to. You can also change the charts in a slightly different way. If I go over to the drop down next to download, that is where you actually create new charts. And you can see that the screen is a bit different and there's a lot more charts to choose from. I'll talk a bit more about that later because there are 3 new charts that I'm going to be demonstrating. One other thing I'll mention is that if I do go back to the edit screen, if you do click the save button, you'll notice that this has been much improved. It's been consolidated, and you can see that you can save your report, edit the details, you can collapse or expand different sections, and you have conditional formatting, security, and the configure attributes. So previously, you know that there was a lot more options in there, and some of them have been consolidated, some of them are available in other areas, such as configuring the theme or producing a schedule. So I'm just going to click save, and then your report will be available to run right from here, just like it always has been. Next, I want to talk about a brand new concept that is being brought into Saba Cloud that is called Insights. So insights are going to be data visualizations that are essentially analytics reports that are built right into the flow of work as you are going through something like creating a course. You can also see this as a manager or as an end user. Now, to use this, you'll need to have the new analytics experience turned on. And you'll likely want to do that anyways, just based on what I just demonstrated. Currently, there are going to be 3 different data insights available for an administrator and 1 for a manager. There'll likely be many more to come in the future. Let me go ahead and just do a quick demonstration to show you what that will look like. I'm going to go over to the Learning Administration area. And you'll notice that there is Insights right over here, right within the flow of work. And if I go over here, it's showing me questions. And these questions are going to be answered by clicking on them, such as which form of learning is most popular, web-based, virtual, instructor-led, blended, etc. And so what it's actually doing is it's gathering all that data in the background and it's forming an actual sentence. Web-based learning with SCORM package is the most popular, and then it shows the data to back that statement up, 97%, and here is the breakdown. So 75% of web-based content is in a SCORM package, 8% file, and then others is basically the accumulation of everything else. So we might be talking about Saba video, AICC, URLs, etc. You can also see that there's 3% instructor-led over here, and it tells me the average class duration and the average batch size. There are some different filters that you can apply if you'd like to. So do you want to see everything from every country, from every location, and for the past 3 months? And here's a screenshot showing you just that. These will have charts available with them to show you graphical representations of the data. And that can certainly help you to better understand what that data looks like. And then from the My Team page, you can see that there is also an insight there, and it states, how is my team getting appreciated in the organization? And it's going to show you all the different impressions that were left over the certain time frame that's specified, in this case 120 days, and that's for all of your teams. Another new feature is 3 new visualizations that you can take advantage of: Area, Donut, and GeoMap. Here's an example of the geo chart that you can take advantage of. This will show you all the different countries within the globe, and you can actually click on one of those countries to zoom in and get a better picture of that. This can certainly give you a nice visualization of different data points, such as who's the most compliant or least compliant, or who has the most completed courses. Whatever the data might be, it can certainly benefit you to know geographically how that data looks. Let me actually show you what that will look like in the system now. I'll just access this report that I saved previously. So this is one that I already created, and you can see there's already a chart in there that's showing me the top completed courses and how many people completed those courses. And so if I want to create another chart, I click on the drop down create chart, and let's go ahead and use the donut, since that's one of the 3 new ones. So a donut will be very reminiscent of your plan page, where you see the donuts there for things like your learning. So I'm just going to give it a generic name. Dimension will be course title. I don't need a metric. I do need a count of, though, and that'll be person. So let's save that, and here you have the 3 most popular courses in the form of a donut. And of course you can click on one of these segments. It'll show you all the data just for that one particular course. And then you can also click on them from here. So that is just a quick glimpse of what it looks like for creating a new chart.